Let's talk about Frank. The quote from the last episode. We used to make shit in this country, build shit. Now all we do is put our hand in the next guy's pocket. After I watched that episode, it's obviously been a minute. You're probably thinking, how could you wait? And I've just been busy. I'm sorry. But after I watched that episode, I was listening to a podcast that Sally Rooney was on. Maybe it was just an interview. Something on Spotify. Sally Rooney, I just grabbed this book before I recorded to prove I read. She wrote Normal People. I read this book a long time ago. I really enjoyed it. They made it into a show on Hulu a long time ago with Daisy Edgar Jones and Paul Mescal. He's going to be in Gladiator 2, the main gladiator. I really like the show as well. I'm not saying you're going to. It's very relationship-y. She also wrote Conversations with Friends, which was turned into a show. She's a great writer. She's also a full-blown Marxist. But in the podcast I was listening to, she talked about how capitalist societies have conditioned us to treat everything like a commodity, even people. Which I think very much, and don't misinterpret what I'm saying, I'm not advocating for, I think I said this in the last reaction, I'm not advocating for any social or economic change. Specifically, she was talking about how we treat relationships and books like commodities. Like, I grabbed this book and I show you, I read it. I have a bookshelf in the other room. It's got a bunch of books on it. Sometimes that's all it's about. I read the book. I consumed it. But did I let the message or whatever it was trying to say resonate with me? Does art even have the ability to enact change anymore? Is that a possibility? Or do we just consume for the sake of consuming? Do we not actually intend to learn anything from the things that we watch or read, things that we consume? Around the same time, I texted a buddy because this is a problem that I have. Do you ever get the feeling that people operate purely from a transactional perspective? How much do you define yourself by your possessions, the girl you're with? I mean, how many dudes walk around and be like, it's about getting chicks, right? Body count's a thing. People become a commodity. And not only in regards to your career, but what kind of friends do you have? Social clout, all of those things. Even what you know becomes a commodity. Knowledge is power, right? I don't even think it's a capitalist society that has programmed us to think this way. I just think it's sort of like a survival instinct that man itself has evolved with. We take less than we give, and we have to consciously make an effort to give. That's why when Frank says we used to make shit in this country, build shit, and all we do is put our hand in the next guy's pocket, I don't think that's an objective statement. It's not meant to be. It's very subjective from his point of view. I think we still build shit. I think taking and giving is part of humanity. I just think when you're down, all you see is the taking. When you're in a bad place. Again, it's really hard for me not to see other people using one another. Or maybe I'm just paranoid and I always suspect that someone's trying to use me. Or sometimes I'll go into social situations and think, well, if I'm not funny or I don't have anything intelligent to say or if I'm not fit enough or whatever, no one's gonna like me. Like, would they accept the real me? What if I just sat there and said nothing? That just objectively wouldn't be enough for people because they're not looking to just exist with someone else. They're looking for someone else to make their experience in this life more rewarding or more enjoyable. And just in that way, people will take from you. They'll suck the life out of you. Again, I don't think it's something we're conditioned to do based upon like the society that we live in. I just think it's the nature of life itself to drain one another. To drain the things around them, to use what they can in order to build. I think we put our hand in the next guy's pocket, our hand in the cookie jar, our hand in everything in order to take that and build. Not just for the people around us, but for ourselves. There's a lot of ego involved in all of this, like I said, I think before. There's a lot to unpack here, and Frank's a very tragic character. I think I knew that when we met him, and I probably expected him to die. After reaching the end of this season, I feel like, I hope not, but I feel like every season of this show is going to be about the downfall of another type of person or people within whatever tax bracket, occupation, or class that they belong to in Baltimore. I hope that's not the case because I talked about before about how I like things to be hopeful. I kind of want one character to just pull a Good Will Hunting and be like, I had to go see about a girl. I'm fucking out of here, guys. I used to be a nihilist when I was younger. I can't bring myself to think like that now. It's too draining. Also, if you ever watch this, Sally Rooney, I'm very jealous. We're the same age, and you're a successful writer, and I'm doing whatever the fuck this is. I guess you guys probably don't know. I went to school to be a writer while I was working in trucking. I got my English degree. I did entertainment journalism for a while, but then that wasn't worth it at all. You don't get paid shit. And then you just write as much as you can in order to get by. So you're not proud of anything that you actually write because we live in a clickbait culture. I quit all that and I decided I still wanted to publicly engage with entertainment, and that's kind of what led me to this. Do sort of what I was doing, but on my own terms, you know? That's sort of what I would like Binge Buffoon to become, if it can. I named this channel Binge Buffoon because when I started it, I had a drinking problem. And binge watching, obviously. And also I wanted to say out the gate that I'm going to be wrong, and I'm going to look dumb, and I'm going to be a buffoon. I'm not trying to be right. I'm admitting ignorance out the gate to set the bar low. Yes, that makes all of this easier, and so that I don't become an egomaniac who needs to be listened to and claims to be right about everything, so that I can grow and learn. I don't know if I've ever said that on this channel before, but that's my mission statement. Everything I just said. My brother just texted me. When we were kids, we shared a bedroom, as brothers do, and I was always the guy who wanted to watch movies and TV. The only thing he ever watched was the Weather Channel. We shared a TV, so it was kind of a back and forth thing. Caused a lot of friction. All he ever watched was the Weather Channel and ESPN or NFL Network. Big on sports, big on the weather. Doesn't give a shit about anything else. He actually went to college to be a weatherman. He majored in atmospheric science. It didn't really work out. It's actually a very competitive industry. He's in shipping and receiving now. Take away from that what you will about going to college. He's a very smart guy. But he just texted me about Twisters, right? He actually, when he was in college, he went storm chasing and stuff. He's all excited about Twisters. He loved the original Twister because obviously it's about weather. And we're about to watch Port in a Storm.
Right now in Baltimore, sunny skies. And here's one of my morning favorites.
Oh, we're back to the radio station bit because we started the season that way. I love a good bookend, guys. And it's a happy, morning, sunshiny, happy morning, and we're on the docks. Packing the Marby Red on his hard hat. Normally you pack the whole pack before you even open it. It's the second time we've seen a Ford Probe in this series, by the way. That was my first car, not that one. But the one we saw on a poster in Proposition Joe's office or wherever we were in season 1. Real quick, I do think competition economically and socially is a good thing, by the way. I don't want people to misinterpret things I say when I'm talking about social economic structures. I'm not advocating for anything. I'm just talking about them. I'm not pro anything. I don't really know anything or have an opinion these days. That's why I call myself a buffoon. I don't know anything. I have no idea. Oh, he found his truck. Oh, he's done. They threw him in the water, obviously, probably. They're gonna fish him out. He's getting fished out. He's gonna get fished out in front of everybody. And this is his legacy now. I hope Nico has a Goodwill Hunting moment at the end and just leaves. Well, he's got a wife and he's got a girl and kid, so never mind. He's screwed too, probably. He ain't going anywhere. Frank. Yeah. His boots. Steel-toe boots. I wonder if he's gonna have a face and fingers. Or this will be the one time they don't. Get rid of his face. Oh my god.
7672 KGA.
KGA, go ahead, 7672.
Notify homicide, the OCME. Got a floater at Tapsco Terminal.
Copy that.
It's so sad, man. Maybe I put a note. What fucked Frank and what makes him such a relatable character is that what fucked him is sometimes what fucks all of us, in the end. Not knowing what the right thing to do is. Or knowing what the right thing to do is and ignoring that instinct. Because you think in the long run, whatever you're doing is the better choice. Or maybe it's just gratifying in the moment. And that justifies it. Just feels good. Business, always business. The Greek.
Fitzhugh's running them through every database. So far, nothing but a driver's license in D.C.
Lester, homicide for you, line 2.
Maybe Sobotka knows him.
They don't know.
Freeman here.
Now homicide calls. I don't want to see fucking.
All of them John Doe's. And that's just headless and handless in the Middle Atlantic region. If you want to go nationwide, you're going to be up over 4 dozen.
Just balls and a freaking mushroom in a forest. Walks like this. Nobody walks like that. I guess there's showing us he's anxious with that hand behind his back, sort of.
Just wanted to make sure they were treating you right.
I'm catching up on my reading at least.
Of course.
You know, whoever did this, we'll find them. We got you, you understand?
I appreciate the offer, but that won't be necessary.
Does he know that Stringer's responsible? It seems like he.
Mr. Barksdale, that any obligation he feels he might have with regards to this incident, it's absolved. I will take care of them myself.
That makes Stringer very
Them?
nervous. Yeah, he knows. He knows.
Thank you for your concern.
Yeah. He understands what's happening. The man is familiar with transactional relationships, self-serving motives.
I'm gonna kill him.
Okay.
Fucking Greek bastard.
You gotta be kidding me.
Wait! Get off of me! The fuck you gonna do? Get a gun? Go play gangster?
Right, which is what he's been doing. That couch has to make him even more frustrated. Uh-oh.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's get out of here, guys. Go see about a girl. It's like a dad picking his kid up at school after he misbehaved. You're in the liaison officer's office, or we had a guy in the school that was like in charge of discipline, detention, whatever, you know.
Dirty bomb. Bad top chasing.
Johnny and Bubs. I mean, we've only barely seen Bubs this season. Johnny once stealing shit with Bubs. Bomb is the bomb. Oh, this guy, where he belongs.
Look out.
Oh God. It would be this guy arresting Bubs. You hate to see this right now.
Now, Johnny.
Landsman's smiling. Oh, it's BD.
At least I remember the call.
Yeah.
Stabbed. Repeatedly.
Oh no.
Single-edged blade. He fought too. Defense wounds on both hands.
He went out fighting like he lived. She feels responsible. This is gonna make her quit. Probably. Maybe she's the one that gets away.
If we stay with these guys on their cases, we ain't never gonna get no respect. You know this. I figure when the detail's over, I go back to straight narcotics, try to get over the Dawson shift.
He's just thinking about himself. Transactional relation.
I mean, you gotta admit, Daniels has been okay for us.
Yeah.
He's there for his troops.
What the fuck, Herc? I mean, they set this up, but they were so excited to have the detail back together initially.
Almost feel sorry for the son of a bitch.
You were right about Sobotka. The case had enough legs on it that I got Burrell committed to keeping my crew together as a major case squad working out of CID.
And I figured that would happen.
You're gonna do your son-in-law.
You don't think I didn't tell her not to marry that brain-dead son of a bitch?
But they've also got you addressing a subordinate officer as, what was it? A shitbird?
Which I noticed in some point I read this in the comments. That's what Prez said to maybe it was the kid, I think, in season 1, whose eye he took, basically.
Roland Presbolewski rides the southeastern desk on midnight shift for 2 months.
We're getting him out of the doghouse.
And after that,
He wants to piss his career away in your unit. I could give a hairy ass fuck.
All right. Yeah, I mean, in the last scene, Herc and Carve were just talking about, or Carve, how Daniels looks out for his troops, and then in this scene, he just did that. That wasn't lost on me,
my son
people.
wants to turn himself in on a warrant.
Oh, yeah, he's taken.
Why he listens. Mike, that asshole calls back, I'm in the shitter.
Literally, what the fuck?
Turning myself in. Southeastern
I love that Lou brought him here. Lester!
Looking for Sobotka.
Yeah, okay. Boop, he's gonna perk.
Nicholas
Yep.
Sobotka.
Yep. Way to be standing right there. Perfect.
Morphine? From a city ambush? You should be ashamed.
McNulty and Chemo with Bubs and Johnny. Thank God. I've been waiting for all of them to get back together. All four of them. Well, not Johnny doesn't really have a relationship with them, but you know what I mean.
We weighted him down pretty goddamn good, but the water just...
Yep.
Sergey would have done better, I admit.
Oh, Sergey would have took the face.
Nico, the nephew.
Our people wait for him, but so do the police.
Oh, yeah.
He knows my name, but my name is not my name.
Right.
To them, you're only the Greek.
And of course.
Not even Greek. Yeah. Yeah. These guys, you know, they're enigmas. They just represent this side of the law in a very enigmatic way. It's not about where they're from or anything like that. It really contrasts with season 1 because it doesn't matter where they're from. Ethnicity doesn't matter. Their upbringing, none of that. There's a lot to unpack there.
Lambs go to slaughter. A man, he learns when to walk away. No, we go.
Yeah, he's right. We go now.
Still here.
These guys are sleeping.
We left the man we think is the number 2 for the operation on the street, hoping he'd lead us to number 1.
The important thing for us is the union. Either they jettison their current leadership, or we have enough to get that local decertified.
Leaving only me and my 14 bodies.
This is gonna be as anticlimactic as last season. The last season's finale.
Come on, Bubs, you gotta do better. You wanna walk on this.
Been quiet, except for that mess with that young boy who got hit with the straight through the window. Ain't been nothing.
Well, how about that?
I ain't got nothing on that one. Just two crews beefing over a corner.
You know what, Bubs? You going to jail.
Yeah, but there's a lot. Look into the crews beefing.
You know, when you was up in that hospital, all I did was worry, right?
Sure.
I'm just happy. I'm happy to see that you up in the mix, you know?
Yeah, how come we never got a scene with them after, between Kima and Bubs after she got shot? Whatever. I don't know.
That wasn't shit. Boy got hit with a rat shot, that all.
What are you talking about?
Boy named Tease. Him and the other East Siders moved into the terrace.
Yeah.
Took over a couple of towers from
Is it? Oh boy.
Mr. Bowtie.
Mr. Bowtie.
And he told them East Side fools, them towers belong to Avon. I mean, they ain't like a war or nothing. It's like a string bell and the machine.
Alright, this is setting up season 3.
If there's anything about this deal you don't
They
understand.
killed my uncle. I don't need to talk to no one but you people.
How do you know they did it?
He knows that Frank was going to see him.
Spiros calls me after everybody's getting arrested, right? If we keep quiet, they can help my cousin Zig. He's gonna say that the gun, it wasn't Zig's. That Gleek has pulled the gun.
So your uncle went to meet them and talk about that?
Under the Key Bridge.
Key Bridge.
If they killed your uncle to shut him up, they probably...
Wanna kill me too?
If Frank wouldn't have talked, he'd be alive, and they'd be probably
I was
doing a
gonna
lot
go
better.
down with them to the bridge.
Yeah, he saved your life.
I was gonna go down there with him.
Oh, and it puts
He wouldn't.
the focus goes on Frank's photo, like he's looking over Nick right now, watching over him.
It's your cousin's signed statement. He put himself in. Talked
Oh,
about
that's
the
right. I completely forgot about that. Obviously, oh right, dude, I completely forgot about that. Zig would have been fucked either way because he confessed. I completely forgot about that.
Your uncle was sitting yesterday, right?
He would have been fucked either way.
Ready to give us everything if we made the drug charges go away for you. And maybe got
Wow.
your cousin to a better lockup than...
Wow. Zig made it sure there was no way to skirt around the truth or what was right. Zig got him killed, pretty much. Well, no. Maybe. In a round.
Spiros was the main guy. Her, I don't know. I don't know why you got Horse's picture up there.
Yeah.
Horse don't
Yeah,
know
he's
shit.
gonna. Yeah, he's gonna defend Horse. He's gonna make sure that Horse is okay.
After them girls died in the can, whoever fucked that up, they had already got to in Philly. They said that whoever did that to them girls was dead.
They're gonna. There's a body.
Who's the suit? You sure? We know that someone is above your man, Spiros. Someone he was in communication with.
Yeah, the Greek. Sure.
That's not the Greek?
He's gonna see him though.
That's the Greek
It
right
even
there.
took him a minute to notice.
He picked out an East Sider, all right. Cheese runs with Proposition Joe's mob.
Nephew, right? Prop Joe's nephew.
So I'm out to start, huh?
Yeah, I owe you one, Sam.
Danny.
Both of them?
Yeah, that one's his valet.
So may I use your bathroom?
Fuck no. Get out of here.
How's product in the towers?
It was shit, now it's right.
Right, they're gonna connect the dots on that. And now the detail is primed and ready to go back after the Barstow organization, sort of. More basically Stringer, Prop Joe, and everybody else.
K Street lawyer down there.
So the suit was only a suit, huh?
Uh-huh.
Oh, right.
You got to call the U.S. attorney about witness protection. We're rounding up his girl and kid.
Well, maybe they will get out of here. Or it'll end like that game. What's it called? Oh, God, that mob game. Mafia. And years later after he gets out. Never mind, I'm not going to spoil that. Well, no, who's going to play it? It's an old game. You're the main character, but years after you get out, they find
Daniels.
you and shoot you as an old man, the mob. Daniels is jacked, guys. Holy Look at Daniels. Good for Daniels, dude. What the fuck? That's hilarious, but awesome. I don't know why that's surprising to me. Of course he is. He's a legend.
May I speak with Agent Kuchers, please?
Oh boy.
Counterterrorism. For how long?
Wow.
Either he comes home in the next 5 minutes, or I eat my gun.
He's gone, dude. He's already came in. Oh my god. You guys are terrible.
Either your son surrenders within the hour, or all the police in this district are gonna come crashing through this fucking door twice a day for as long as it takes you fucking people to get the message. More than 3 legs left on it. You hear me?
Officer, my son turned himself into the police last night.
Yeah.
A detective was there at the time.
Well, they're just gonna be pissed that they were forgotten about and left out of the loop. Yeah, they're gonna be so pissed it was Lester too. They were just left out to dry. That is kind of fucked up. It is sort of a testament to them not being taken seriously by their coworkers, that they're just like, we've just forgotten about. I guess I didn't even consider how fucked that is from their perspective, that they're just sitting there because they're of no use to them. The rest of the detail, really.
If they got to him in Philly, then they probably dumped the body in that area, right?
They're bad at all this stuff, though. They're kind of just the muscle, you know. But they should still be appreciated.
God.
Oh God.
I bet you there's a fucking police detective somewhere else looking at a table full of heads right now.
Right. That would have been a funny cut if they cut to the guys looking at the heads, like, what the fuck, and then just cut back. It'd be like a Family Guy cut.
Where y'all been at?
Oh, they're gonna take it out on Lester, or maybe not.
Something just ain't feel right. The man didn't even know what I was saying.
If Avon contracted him to get at you, the brother wouldn't stop coming until you two bumped. Ron's father was plain evil, and the son ain't no better. Neither is Stringer now that we making a list.
Oh, I'm going hard after Stringer.
That is who he should be going after.
Take some time and think on it.
Good for you. Good. That's smart.
One thing for sure, though, the man got to be got. You feel me?
That's literally. Now I'm thinking about the scene with Nick before. I'm gonna kill them all. I get him. Omar takes his time, thinks about things, sort of, sometimes.
What you see, Butch?
What you see, Butch?
Too much, boy. Too damn much.
From the blind guy. That's awesome. He sees everything, even though he can't see, you know.
Fucking ain't right. We're not even people in this unit.
Yeah.
Well, you goddamn pack me.
This is fair, actually.
That one.
Yeah.
It's part of the job.
The job had a little more rip and run to it the way I remember it.
We're putting people in jail with phone taps and typewriters.
So you're saying we ain't up to it?
I do get this, I suppose.
Flex squad. And last time I checked, I had stripes.
I get now sort of how Carb had his expectations weren't this coming back into the detail. Still though, I don't necessarily care, but I get it. And as far as in the car goes, McNulty and Kima might be my favorite duo in the detail, like when they're working together. I mean obviously McNulty and Bunk are the best, but McNulty and Lester are great too. Never mind. And Perez is great with everybody too.
So, what you asked for before...
That's what we... You're right. So, absolutely.
These two are cool too. Bunk and Lester, they're all great together. Forget everything I said.
All right. Any way that you can give us the name of the security officer that was working this pier on that night?
Walt Stokes.
Is he working tonight?
It's Tuesday. Walt's off on Tuesdays. What do you want Walt for?
I love this guy.
Seeing as you come all this way, though, you might want to have a look-see at the videotapes.
I didn't even mention that before. I just wanted to talk to people. He gets lonely in that shack.
Oh, we are so gonna need one of these.
Kima looks really excited.
Blue's Clues juice box holder.
Blue's Clues.
The little old box without no help. We got problems.
This baby is gonna come out of my belly and need both of us. Forever.
Yeah. I don't remember any conversations prior to this right now, but why did Kima agree to have a kid if she is like this right now and feels this way? Was it just to appease her partner? I don't know. This is what you should have been doing the whole season, Nicholas, when you weren't working. Watching TV with your baby.
What's gonna happen, Nikki?
Well, maybe not the TV
Nikki.
part. Reading books to her or something. He's gone. Even though he's where he should be, sort of, he's still not present.
The drug talk coming from Proposition Joe's people before the warehouse phone came down. He doubles his re up to 12 kilos?
They're back in the game on all of it. Yeah, I mean, throughout season 2, we've been setting up or following the Barksdale organization still, and there's sort of always going to be a through line in this series, obviously, or a constant. Well, it have to be.
You got anything to lay off before you leave?
And I didn't even think right now about how they're Prop Joe's supplier, which is going to ruin his deal with String, them leaving.
There's more where that came from. Always there is more.
I'm gonna let your new people find me.
It's connected, but it's not connected. It's all connected.
Where you say you off to
okay,
again?
so the new people will find him. I ain't telling you. Hopefully not the Midwest. Stay away! It would have happened already. This was years ago.
We're definitely in the wind. We are in the dark.
They don't get on to us when they did. This might have been a hell of a case.
Absolve. What the fuck do that mean?
But Mazon not saying who did that shit.
You asked him who it was?
Yeah, I asked him.
Why? Why what? Either he gonna say or he gonna go and work it out. Either way, you ain't got to be asking him shit.
Dude, it's better to be an independent contractor. You know what I'm saying? You're in charge. Don't ask independent contractors questions.
We're gonna get through this bullshit anyway.
No doubt, you just need to hold tight till I get uptown. Yeah, you need to go to Prop Joe. I ain't gonna argue with you.
What?
You run it as you see fit.
What?
At least till I get home, you do.
What?
I'm done.
He gets what he wants this way?
Us, man.
Us.
That was interesting. I'm sure Avon suspects String of some malpractice. Whatever word you want to use there. Shenanigans. Oh. Early in the season. Nice. Sergey.
Is he flashing a badge?
Yep. I should have realized they had FBI connections and stuff back then.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my pants are wet. Yeah. Come on, baby. Yo! Yeah.
My pants are wet.
I go with Avon today.
It's all good.
Wait a second. Oh yeah, these two. Look at McNulty's face. His pants are wet too.
What's the news?
Port cops are sitting on a can come off the Adriatica. Word around the customs shed, it's full of dope.
I mean about Frank.
Take the opportunity to elect new officers, or the U.S. Attorney will padlock the door, and you'll be outside, looking in.
One man, one vote.
That's him. That's kind of dumb to leave a tattoo.
Nothing to do with me.
And they got you on camera, buddy boy.
Walt Stokes, good man. Keeps meticulous records.
Yeah, he's got nobody to talk to. He's just on it all day long.
Well, I'll be damned. Maryland tags. Juliet Lima Yankee.
Oh, my pants are wet too. But that's because of other reasons, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Just kidding.
This is aggravated murder and kidnapping. In this state, it's a death penalty case.
Yeah.
I didn't kill him.
Woohoo!
I was there, but I didn't kill him.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Vondas did.
Oh boy. Yeah, but Vondas, we don't even know if that's his name.
And this idiot kills the rest to make no witnesses. He had to die.
You want a coffee? Soda?
Vodka.
Vodka, of course. Of course.
Coffee.
Yeah. It's the next best thing. Look at Bunk.
They're down.
All 14 of them.
You, want to tell Ross?
I'll tell him.
Let him
I'll go
stew
tell
how
him.
long.
Yeah, yeah. I love telling people good news.
The Greek.
What's his name?
You don't know either.
A hotel at the harbor.
Is this? No way. No way they're gonna get him. No, they ain't gonna be here. It's a trap!
Clear!
No way. It's a clue.
Business or pleasure for you?
Business. Always business.
Always business. Look at him smile like a weirdo. That was a bit hammy. Not gonna lie. It was funny though.
Good. Nothing important.
And we're all meeting at the bar afterwards.
What happened?
Case hit the wall.
Yeah.
We were late for Vandopoulos and the Greek.
Too late. Always too late.
What are we doing with the drug end of the case?
I guess we could offer up Dixon and prop Joe to narcotics.
I wouldn't be so quick to throw Joe back into the pond.
Don't you think?
Back where we began, Daniels. Back where we began. Oh no. Oh, Beatty. It's like McNulty knows Beatty's too good for him, so he's just back to... Rhonda's kind of too good for him too, in a way. I don't know.
I thought I was talking some fucking San Diego.
Oh yeah.
I'm guessing Bandopoulos, the Greek, was an asset to them. You know, hooked up like that, or who knows what.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant.
World just keeps turning, right? You guys move on to something new. No one looks back.
Tom Meader's time.
It's always about the next thing. Or it's always about the next thing, the next round. So right now, I guess. Because they're all in onto their own. They're all dealing with something else.
Where are you going?
What the fuck's gonna happen here now?
Work.
Nick's dead. Major veil check. One last middle finger from Frank, please. Yeah.
Frank, you cock. Spoczywaj, spokoju.
What? Wait. I don't know what language that was. No. I'm drawing the wrong conclusion there. Polacks. It was like a sign of respect at the end. I went full on conspiracy theorist just then. Being dumb. Some of him to go into the union hall right now.
The fuck else am I gonna go? How's it looking?
One Roro at North Point. Graybeard's grabbed that.
He's doing the same thing Frank did, you know? Just to feel useful again and part of the environment that he's grown accustomed to. The only thing he knows how to do. This is stupid, though. It's like he doesn't even want to leave. And he's not gonna. I thought people said we don't do music montages in this show. We've done one at the end of last season, right now, and in the last episode, kinda. There was music. Do we do one at the end of every season? Horseface. Rolls. And Landsman gets his little pat on the belly. He's happy. Like a dog getting pet. Oh, man. With all his boyfriends. Of course. Beatty's back on the docks driving around with her headphones. It's the same as the end of last season. Nothing's changed. Really? Court Investigation 2003. Lights out. They're on to the next one. Next investigation. What's Frog? There's a little old lady in the window. Oh, it's for sale! Because she's out of here. She's done with all this. It's like the montage. I don't remember if the montage at the end of last season was like this. I think it was. But this one, it's like the state of Baltimore after the events of the season. Oh, more girls. Nothing's changed. Yep, and at like the beginning of the season, we see all that. When he's at there, I just realized he's at the fence from the last episode with Frank, right? Sort of. That's it. Jesus Christ. Where do I even begin with this season? Reflecting upon it. You know, I do a lot of projecting and am more than a tad narcissistic in all of my videos. Probably especially my The Wire ramblings. So consider this a disclaimer. I'm going to do more of that here. I suppose it's a testament to The Wire's relatability and complex characters. Or that could just be an excuse I'm using. Because it is. I'm just a raging egomaniac. I really loved that final montage at the end of the finale where we get to see the state of everyone and everything in Baltimore. And then you get that shot of Nick at the fence, not unlike Frank in the episode prior, looking at the docks and the state of his industry. It's intentional. that they're behind wire like that, him and Frank, because they're both caged animals in a way, trapped in this cycle of a system that is seemingly never ending. And that's why I think I put a note that said, I understand the pi symbol on the back of Nick's neck now, because this whole season was sort of setting him up to be the one in his family who, I mean, out of Frank and Ziggy and him, to walk away from the events of this season because the Greek and company have clearly decided he's no longer a threat. Even though him and his family could leave, I suppose they could embrace witness protection, but he's clearly decided that he doesn't want to abandon the docks and everything and everyone his family sacrificed so much for. And it's a very powerful ending to this season. His identity is there in Baltimore. And I think it's a very profound commentary on where we live sort of becomes us. Or I talked a little bit in this episode about Good Will Hunting. Nick's literally, or basically, the opposite of Will Hunting. He's not going anywhere. He's just staying. He's basically Ben Affleck's character. You know what? Because there's that scene in Good Will Hunting, or there's the speech that Chucky, Ben Affleck's character, where he's talking to Will about how Will doesn't want to go anywhere. He just wants to continue working construction. I'm only reading this because I feel like it's a contrast to the position that Nick finds himself in.
Will goes, oh, come on, why is it always this? I mean, I fucking owe it to myself to do this or do that. What if I don't want to? Chucky goes, no, fuck you. You don't owe it to yourself. You owe it to me. Because tomorrow, I'm gonna wake up and I'll be 50. And I'll still be doing this shit. And that's alright, that's fine. But I mean, you're sitting on a winning lottery ticket, and you're too much of a pussy to cash it in. And that's bullshit. Because I'd do anything to fucking have what you got. So would any of these fucking guys. It'd be an insult to us if you're still here in 20 years.
Hanging around here is a waste of your fucking time. Or fucking waste of your time. I think a lot of us spend, especially our earlier or younger years, dreaming about a miracle meal ticket or a way out. Imagining this like great life where we can just take off and travel the world and do drugs and drink and have sex with hookers and just whatever we want. And we don't have any debts, or we don't have to worry about finances. We don't have responsibilities. Life's just great. We can forget about all our hometown problems. That for many of us, that's not a reality. That's never going to be our life. We're always going to have bills to pay. We're always going to have family relying on us. So we're going to wake up, we're going to go to work, clock in, clock out, and do it all over again the next day. Overall, I really enjoyed season 2 of The Wire. The writing and the acting were certainly on par with season 1. I can't say which I like better at this point. Part of me did like this more because of how the writers committed to their vision for this series. It would have been so easy to just stick to the streets and the drugs. I'll talk more about that in a bit, I think, but I don't want to lose the train of thought I'm on. Because personally, and what I'm about to say is also why some people are going to like season 1 more than season 2. And then I'm sure subsequent seasons for similar reasons. This season, I found more relatable. I liked how it focused on the working class's plight in America, which is, of course, in line with the major theme, which I think is just an American city that gets fucked. From innovation to labor being left behind in favor of investment. Those things being especially relevant today and are things that I think about all the time. Struggling to get by, trying to find ways to cheat the system, whether that be working with the Greek or selling drugs or doing YouTube in the hopes that it'll take off when what I really should be doing is focusing on something more productive, profitable, and sustainable. In regards to the working class, I also really liked how, and I don't think this is something that people probably talk a lot about when they talk about this show, how it focused on culturally the role alcohol plays as a coping mechanism, how much time the working class actually spend at the bar, not to mention the cops. Alcohol is a drug, obviously. In many ways, it's no better than the stuff on the streets. It's just legal. And I think drawing parallels between not just that, but industry and criminality, as well as showing how the two intersect, is an important thing for this show to do and continue to do moving forward. Depicting every corner of the city is important, and the life that resides in those areas. Like this season, I'm sure people didn't find it as entertaining as drug dealing or gang violence, even though there is some of that in this season. I do think characters like Frank are very important to depict, because now both seasons feel like they're a part of something larger. All you hear about season 2 of The Wire going in, as someone who's been aware of the show but never watched it until now, is that many people were thrown by season 2 during their first watch, which is likely because everyone was wrapped up in the drugs and the gangs of season 1. It's a very abrupt shift away from that. I even heard that Michael K. Williams was upset, and he approached the showrunners about it because he thought the show was shifting its focus away from black people to white people, which it does do in a way, but it does it in a way that had to be done. Because this show isn't about any one ethnicity or tax bracket. It's about the city. And I know and knew that because I've heard many times that this show is a portrait of Baltimore and how the systems in place and the corruption that follows affects its people. And that's the mission statement that season 2 begins to drive home. I think it would be problematic if the show just focused on one type of person or peoples, because then you're highlighting just one facet of struggle. And by struggle, I mean the struggle, I suppose, that is American life in the city of Baltimore. And now the show is set up for whatever it wants to portray moving forward with its astute political and social awareness. I mean, it's a show made by police reporters and journalists. They wouldn't just be familiar with or reporting on street crime. Had The Wire continued to just follow the Barksdale organization and branch out from there, it would have boxed itself in and just became probably a more stereotypical crime drama. But now it's allowed to become more than that. Again, that's probably why I like season 2 more, because it's a very courageous decision creatively to make. To be like, we're going to introduce these new sets of characters and connect their struggle to everything else in a way that now, I'm sure in retrospect for many, feels and seems very organic. Because the streets, while not front and center in season 2, are still present. We get to see where the drugs come from, which is why the jump to the docks does make sense. And then everything with the Union and the Greek. The FBI comes back around. The government and their obsession with money. It's all connected. All the pieces matter. There's still more I want to say about this point, but I feel like I'm going to get utterly redundant. Maybe I'll just speed up what I'm about to say so it's less annoying for you. If this show was Google Maps...
And season 1 was zoomed in on the street level characters, mostly the west side, then season 2 begins to zoom out, subtly showing us more of the east side, while shifting focus to the docks, and how those characters, while very different, are dealing with struggles similar to the ones faced by those in season 1 because the same systems affect them.
And I've drawn, I think... I don't remember half the crap I say. A lot of parallels between characters like Frank and Avon, Ziggy and Dee. You can, I mean, because we're all human and we're all dealing with things, and how we deal with those situations vary depending upon who we are and our circumstances. But you can draw parallels between so many different characters living so many different lives. I would have liked more Bubs in this season, maybe. But I do think that we follow characters from season 1 enough in this season that you don't feel slighted. Just maybe at first. It also feels realistic the way that people we're very familiar with, randomly pop up in season 2. Without any like major look who's back moments. There's no grand entrances or gimmicky cameos. It just all fits together very well. The only character who's placed in this show is a bit funny, but in an entertaining way, is Brother Muzon. Don't get me wrong, he's super cool. And you can certainly argue, I'm sure, that his depiction is in line with those from the Nation of Islam. I just think some of his lines and character moments come off as a bit hammy and overtly cinematic and cartoonish at times. I think I said something about him feeling like a Tarantino character. It just feels a little out of place at times because it's too polished, some of his scenes, if that makes sense. I think I've said before that one of the things about this show is like it feels very raw at times, and it should. That being said, the standout character of this season is obviously Frank Sobotka. This is his season. I don't know if Chris Bauer got in any award nominations. He fucking should have. I know The Wire was somewhat overlooked when it came out. I also know that Chris Bauer was only in his 30s when he played Frank Sobotka and wore a fat suit. Chris Bauer was never acknowledged in any way for The Wire. The only awards on his IMDb page, there was a Satellite Award for Best Ensemble Cast for True Blood. I've never seen True Blood. Sorry, I don't have any interest. And Outstanding Performance by an Ensemble in a Drama Series, Screen Actors Guild, True Blood. I don't know about you guys, but I've had bosses that I've hated, and it's been painstakingly obvious to me that they were just out for themselves, even though all they would preach is teamwork and unity and all of the things, but only because they knew that that sort of rhetoric would benefit them in the long run. When you would go to them and talk about raises or whatever, they would manipulate you and they would talk down to you. They're working you. They're trying to get you to agree with whatever helps their bottom line by convincing you that it's going to benefit you in the long run. Wait for this raise, sort of thing. But that's not Frank. Like Daniels, he sticks his neck out for his guys and he'll sweat right along with them. Although he's not perfect, it's heartbreaking now to think about his journey. You often hear soldiers, and this is going to relate back to what I said before, you often hear how soldiers talk about going to war and how it's not about the government or necessarily the cause, it's about the guy standing next to him. And when I say that, I think about the scene in the finale when the Union guys basically say they'd rather vote for a dead guy, Frank, than bow down to the government. Because they're about each other. You know, one man, one vote. Even though, I don't know what that says now. Sorry, none of this is very structured. I kind of want to start doing like video essays and stuff on things that I watch instead of just rambling like this. I don't think it's the most effective way to go about doing things. Maybe I should have said that at the end. There are plenty of amazing scenes that I love in this season. I do have some notes, like where I'm looking at things I don't remember to say. I'd even go as far as to say the acting led by Chris Bauer in this season sometimes shits on season 1. But that is recency bias probably. But Bauer had some monster scenes as Frank. Most notably the one with Nick in front of the Key Bridge. His scenes with Bruce when he's talking about generational poverty or wealth. And then that last scene with Zig in the prison. Very powerful stuff. At one point this season, I don't remember what video it was, people started pointing out, or someone said in the comments, and then people started talking about how Frank's Breaking Bad character arc is more subtle, nuanced, and impactful than Walter White's. I do agree. I had many problems with Breaking Bad. I love Breaking Bad as a show, but the way Walt's arc went bothered me sometimes. For starters, Walter White kills someone in the first episode of Breaking Bad. Like, they always have him do something shocking after that, more or less. With Frank, we never have to see him execute someone or run people over with his truck because he and we know that he's already in too deep, and it's more about the chain reaction of his decisions. He's sort of the embodiment of this saying that the path to hell is paved with good intentions, as cliche and trite as that saying is. I just think that Frank is such a well-developed and complex character that builds upon that sentiment. This is not to say that ego is not involved when talking about Frank, but where Walter White did things for himself, Frank did what he did to raise funds for the canal, to dredge the canal, and ultimately provide jobs for his union guys. The guy probably would have knowingly gave his life if he knew he would set his guys up and his family up. That could be a stretch, but I mean, even the last decision he makes is to help his son, which he probably felt like he should have done ages ago. Like Good Will Hunting, I think Breaking Bad is sort of more wish fulfillment. Walt White's goal is to leave his family a fortune, which he ultimately does. For that reason, among many others, the finale of Breaking Bad to me felt like a victory lap. He defeats all his enemies, he frees Jesse, and he dies blissfully next to his, I don't know what this was, next to his baby Blue. You're doing a lot with my hands. It would have made more sense to me if he would have died in the woods in the penultimate episode, a disgraced failure, which is, ironically or coincidentally, Frank's fate, a much more admirable character. And maybe comparing and contrasting those arcs says something about how the bad guys win, not just in real life, but in entertainment. But Frank's not a good guy either, just admirable in more ways than not. And Walter White's the type of guy who, if he felt he had more to do and you put a knife to him, he'd cry. Frank fights. He went out swinging. He died like he lived. He died fighting. Frank's so cool, man. I don't know why that's only hitting me now. Maybe it's just how I feel today. Because I think I've criticized him in other videos. And rightfully so. Like I said, he's not perfect. And it's crazy to think about how everything that happens to him, in a way, can be traced back to him buying that stained glass window. Someone fucking said in the comments, or I think I said stained glass or something, metaphorically, in my review of season 1. And someone commented, it's funny you say that because that's a minor plot point of season 2. No, it's a major fucking plot point. Had Frank not bought that stained glass window and pissed off Velchek, or donated the stained glass window, the detail never would have been assigned to Frank. You ruined the whole fucking season for me, person. I'm kidding. I don't actually care. That didn't ruin anything. And I have no personal vendetta. But this show is all about personal vendettas, I guess, in a way. Ego, and how things like that lead to systematic corruption. Human nature being an obvious catalyst for corruption. What else do I want to talk about? I really loved McNulty's journey this season, although it didn't really go anywhere at the end. I thought they might do more with it. I don't know how his character has necessarily developed. We didn't follow up with his family at all. We just put him back where he needed to be, so he stopped imploding or self-sabotaging. Just from the port to the detail again. Even though I do like the detail getting back together and him being back with the detail, some of that felt on the surface a bit contrived the first time around. However, if you really break down how it happened, it makes sense. It all makes sense. I guess you could argue they wasted some time putting everybody apart if they were just going to bring them back together. But there were a lot of interesting storylines or plot points and character development that did happen, I suppose. So I'm fine with it. I'm also fine with the way Dee's death came about, and I don't know why I fixated on that at the beginning of the last video. I watched that back, unfortunately, and I hate everything I said. I'm never watching my videos ever again, because it's all very cringy to me. I find myself liking Avon a lot more as his relationship with Stringer fractures. Maybe because I absolutely despise Stringer. And Avon is becoming more and more empathetic as he's caged. Not unlike, no, very much unlike Nick. Never mind. I was just trying to bring that back around. Omar is, and likely always will be, a standout. Proposition Joe. Prop Joe. I fucking love Prop Joe. I fucking love Prop Joe. I did not see my love for Prop Joe coming, to be honest with you. Daniels and his conflicting sense of duty is always amazing. Kima Prez's character development is awesome. I mentioned these characters because they're obviously constants in this. I imagine they're going to remain in the series moving forward. I don't get the feeling that we'll be following characters like Nick, Zig, Horseface, Beatty, who's now back driving around, jamming out on the docks in future seasons. Maybe, but I don't think that's going to be the case. They'll sort of just stay where they are while we move on. Because the streets of Baltimore run through the city. So it makes sense that characters like Omar, Avon, Stringer, Prop Joe, Cheese, Brother Muzone would stick around. While people on the docks, because the docks stay where they are, won't. I mean, overall, the writing and the nuance and everything in this show is top tier. From McNulty's drunken allegorical adventures to Daniels' relationship deteriorating. Dude sleeping in a separate bedroom. Some things are often so subtle in this show that I begin to wonder if they're intentional at all. Happy coincidences or happy mistakes happen all the time in shows where they're like, oh yeah, we didn't necessarily intend that, but that's cool. And that's the beauty of this show is you notice so many things the second time around. I'm never going to notice everything the first time around. I have watched some other Wire reactions, like not of episodes I haven't seen, but like 1 and 2, just because I wanted to see other people's reaction to this show. And one thing I've noticed is a lot of the time, the comments just like dunking on people for not noticing things. And I don't think that's cool at all. I don't think people ever notice things the first time around. I don't think anyone who's commenting noticed the first time around. I think they just have watched the show 50 times and watched and read interviews and breakdowns and now want to act like they understand everything and always did. I think it's tragically ironic too when this show is about ego and greed and all of the things we subject one another to in order to hoist ourselves up, whether it be economically or socially. But that's the internet. That's what we do to people. Baltimore's this city that has all of these issues, and now the internet is this thing that makes. I know the word, okay? I just can never fucking pronounce it. Makes everything worse. All of those issues worse. The internet is the catalyst that is a catalyst for human nature, and human nature is the catalyst that makes everything worse. And now the internet's a catalyst for human nature. It's fucking terrible, man. We're so fucked. And I'm contributing to this thing that is the internet by being on it. And sometimes I wonder, why am I doing it? Sorry, that's the pronunciation.
Exacerbate.
There it is. This whole show is starting to, and I have seen people refer to it as a Greek tragedy, headlines and stuff, you know. I have to Google a lot of the Wire stuff when I make thumbnails to find pictures and stuff like that. So when you find an image, sometimes below it'll have, because that image is attached to an article or something. Anyway, I've seen this show referred to as a Greek tragedy, and it is starting to feel like a tragedy. And I think I said this at the beginning of this episode, that I get it. People with good intentions, people who are trying to survive, people doing what they need to, and sometimes what they don't need to, often they get fucked. I just hope the show's main focus won't continue to be the downfall of different people within another class or sector of this city from season to season. Because right now, if this formula sticks, season 1, we more or less follow Avon and his descent, if you will, disillusionment and descent into tragedy, a tragic end, as the detail is assigned to the Barksdale organization. Season 2, we follow Frank and his descent, and then tragic end, as the detail is assigned to the docks and everything that's happening there. Because now, if I start season 3 and I meet a new character that seems to be at the center of it all, I'm just going to assume that they're going to be imprisoned or killed in the penultimate episode. I know D'Angelo didn't die in the penultimate episode, but Wallace did. So I just assume everyone's going to be fucked. I hope that doesn't happen. I need a little more than that. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I just don't want to watch that happen every season. And I didn't mean to sound like angry about it just now. I don't know why I got hyped up. Because I'm really enjoying this show and I do think it's brilliant. I don't want to walk away feeling like, well, what the fuck are we going to do about all this? At least I don't live in Baltimore. Fuck. I'm just kidding. To everyone who lives in Baltimore, you guys are awesome. I hope you're okay. You can do it. Whatever it is you're doing, do it. Or get the fuck out of there, man. I'm just kidding. Don't leave because it's attached to who you are. And that city is clearly dope in some ways. Alright, I think that's all I have for this one. I don't know when I'm going to get to season 3, guys. I'm not to have some pity dick in my mouth right now, but that's a quote from Deadpool. I rewatched that the other day before I went to see the new one. But I'm barely getting by, and I just want to do YouTube when I want to do it, and do what I want when I want to do it. If I'm going to continue doing YouTube, it's got to be a fun hobby. I will get to season 3 at some point. I just don't know when at this point. Big love to everyone who was bored enough to join me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Drive me off this platform if you must. Otherwise, like, subscribe, dislike for cathartic reasons. Drink water, stay young, and remember, don't be an idiot. Be a buffoon. Peace.